Okay, so let's say you started a mineral balancing program. What we're going to do is we're going to have like a pre-mineral balancing consultation where we're going to talk about everything with your health, all the parts of your body, how everything's working as far as your cognition, your gut, your sleep, your eyes, your anything that you can think of and anything that I can think of. We're going to go over so that we can track your progress, so that we can see if it's actually working. And so we can actually just kind of get to know what's going on in your body and both become aware, so that we can make the best decisions. After that, we're going to send in the hair sample and we're going to wait a few days. During those few days, it'd be best if you were to study a little bit on mineral balancing, what it is that you can expect to see. Maybe look over some sample reports and read a couple articles that I'll give you. And then when we get your hair test, I'm going to send that right over to you. And you're going to look at your hair test, and you're going to have instant questions. It's aesthetically pleasing, it's cool to look at, but it doesn't take very long before you realize that you don't really know what you're looking at. So you're going to accumulate a few questions, and we can schedule a phone call for that day or for the following day. We'll go over, we'll get on the phone, we'll go over everything that I'll see as far as your macro minerals, your trace minerals, your heavy metals, your additional elements. We're going to look at the ratios and the patterns, and then we want to basically just give you some vitamins and minerals that will support all of those deficiencies and toxicities that we find, as well as just kind of give you what's the RDA or what you're basically going to need to just nourish yourself going forward. We want to reduce the chance that we're going to nourish you in one way and make you deficient in another way. That's always a problem because every mineral has a synergistic quality and antagonistic quality with other minerals. So we're going to do this in the most wise way possible. And then over the course of months, about 3 months, you're going to take your new nutrients 3 times a day and nourish yourself as much as possible. Just giving the body all that it needs. And then we're going to do a retest. We're going to see how everything's going, whether or not your metabolism has changed, whether or not we're making steady progress as far as nourishing you, as well as watching those heavy metals come down or shoot up. When they shoot up, that tells us basically that we're antagonizing minerals, and your body's actually starting to dump them, and it's coming out through the hair. So your hair is an excretion tissue. Your body knows that it can just dump toxins there because it's likely that it's going to be cut off. And so we see toxins sometimes rising as we do this work. Not because we're making you more toxic or you just drank a bunch of mercury, but rather that your body's doing its job. Sometimes you'll see that the heavy metals come way down, and that's because we basically antagonized it, got rid of it, and it was a nice clean thing, and it's not even showing up in the new hair. So that's great. That doesn't necessarily mean that we're out of the woods though, because your body could later on in the mineral balancing process decide to prioritize the detoxification of that metal again from a different part of your body, and then we'll see it back on the hair test. So it's a long process. Sometimes it can be a little bit painful when you're dumping some toxins. You might have maybe it'll come out of the skin. It might look like a little bit of a rash. It'll go quickly. Maybe an old infection will come back because your body, it's been laying dormant, and so your body's actually, now that it has the energy, can prioritize actually nipping that in the bud. Sometimes you'll get a headache, and that's just because maybe you mobilize some lead or aluminum, and it makes its way into the bloodstream, into the brain, and it gives you a headache for a day. That all of that is good news. All of that is great. You want to celebrate those days as hard as they can be, and all that means is that you're healing. So we want to do this as long as you want to do this. I think a mineral balancing program, to really do its job, can take up to 2-3 years. Some people go much longer because they just love nourishing themselves on this level, using HTMA as their roadmap, their crystal ball to just continuously work on themselves. And so that's great. But what I'm basically just buffering the person that might be watching this, thinking that this is a quick fix. Of course, we're looking at your hair and we're seeing which electrolytes you need. And doing that can drastically increase your energy, giving your body what it needs. Other times it takes a little bit longer. Sometimes even it will allow your body to crash because it needs to, because it's been basically hoisted up on stilts and it's been falsely mounting this energy, this energy based on toxicity and based on just like this kind of rudimentary system that it's created just to keep you going in the stressful environment that you live. So there might be a little bit of a crash and then a rebuilding, and all of that is good. So another thing is that when you're nourishing yourself, you might notice emotions start to change. You might have you might notice spiritual changes. You might notice epiphanies. You might even get over traumas, and all of that's great. It's not necessarily that these are spiritual things or that these are psychological cures or antidepressants or anything like that, but rather the deficiency of certain minerals causes the opposite of these things. So as you become deficient in certain minerals, your brain doesn't work as well. You become maybe a little bit more emotionally shunted, and maybe your body just doesn't feel good enough to actually have the kind of feelings and epiphanies and positive changes that you could otherwise make. So I will just want to commend you, bless you, for taking the step in doing mineral balancing. It means that you have somewhat of a belief level. Your belief level is going to raise as you do this. You're going to feel so much better. Keep going. There's going to be times that you feel like you're plateauing. Keep nourishing. There's always a breakthrough beyond that. Thank you for watching this, and I'll talk to you soon.